All right. Good morning. We get to do the hardest lesson of circles. Yay. You guys have calculators. Does everybody have a calculator?
Yeah.
Okay, because we'll be doing the quadratic formula, so you'll definitely need a calculator. So test is next Wednesday over all of circles. There's a lot in circles. Today we're going to focus on segments in circles. This, if you just stare at it, I feel like, at least for me, like the stuff starts turning. Is that weird? Do you see it? It doesn't? Like if you stare right at the dot in the middle? It's kind of weird. Okay, so first type of problem are going to be problems like this. These are segments, not angles. So yesterday we looked at angles. Today we're looking at segment lengths. So inside a circle, if you have two chords that intersect and they do not have to intersect in the center, all you do is you multiply each piece. So A times B, so you got to stay along the same chord. A times B will always equal C times D. So that's the first formula. A times B will always equal C times D. So that's if you have chords inside the circle. Sometimes your chords go outside the circle. I guess it wouldn't be a chord anymore. But the segments go outside the circle. So look at this crazy formula that you have to know. But all it is the outside piece W multiplied by the entire length W plus X added together equals outside piece times the whole length added together. And then last but not least, this is the last type of problem. It's still really the same formula as the last one, or the same equation as the last one. It's outside piece times the whole thing, which T times T would be T squared, equals outside piece times the whole length. So how about we do examples, right? Examples. So I will look, because I know these are on your assignment. So do you know what, is this just numbers 1, 2, and 3 on your assignment? Maybe? Is this number 1? Okay. So let's look at this one together. So if the chords are inside your circle, you multiply each piece. So 3 times x, what's 3 times x? 3x equals 7 times 6. What's 7 times 6? 42. And then solve for x. What's 42 divided by 3? 42 divided by 3, 14. Yep, so that would be that answer. These are the easiest. These are my favorite. So stay along the same chord. Just make sure you stay along the same chord. So it's 6 times x, which would be 6x. And then 9 times 9. What's 9 times 9? 81. And then do 81 divided by 6. Okay. So these aren't too bad. 13.5. So that's number 2 on your assignment, and this note's number 3 on the assignment? Okay. So remember, just stay along the same chord. Don't jump chords. Don't do 15 times x. It would be 18 times x. So 18 times x is 18x. 15 times 12, I don't know what that is.
180.
Oh, thank you. You guys are quicker than me. 180 divided by 18. X equals 10. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3. So there's a few problems like that. Go to the word problem. Go to number 7. So number 7 says, an arch over an apartment entrance is 3 feet high and 9 feet wide. Find the radius of the circle containing the arc of the arch. Well, the thing is, I don't even have a circle yet. So what I'm going to do is make a circle. That looks weird. That's my circle. So this chord is 9. If I draw in the diameter, that's going to be the other chord. So that's going to help me find the radius, because if I have the diameter, then I can find the radius. This piece up here is 3. and the diameter is going to cut that chord in half. So if that whole length is 9, what would each piece be here? So 4.5, 4.5, and then I'll just call this piece right here x. So stay along the same chord. So 3 times x is 3x. 4.5 times 4.5. I don't know what that is. 4.5 times 4.5.
20.
20.25. Divide by 3. 6.75. Okay, so x, this length right here would be 6.75. What would the whole length of my diameter be?
9.75.
9.75. What would I do to get the radius?
Divided by 2.
Divide by 9.75 by 2. What is that?
4.875.
Okay. Keep the big long decimals in that. So it has a spot for x, the diameter, and the radius. So x would be 6.75, diameter 9.75, radius 4.875. Okay. Okay, so those so 1 through 7, not so bad. You understand how to just multiply each piece? Okay, let's get to the harder stuff. Let's see which examples I have up here. What number is this one? Can you find this one? 4x75. Maybe I should just, here, let's see. You did? What number is it, or is it not on here? Oh, okay. All right. Are we ready for the hard stuff? Let's go. Let's do an easier one first. Let's just do number 8 together. Let's do number 8. This is easier. So our formula says that we have to do the outside piece. So up here, the outside piece is x, right? Outside piece, outside the circle, times the entire length. And the entire length would also be x. So what is x times x? What?
X squared.
X squared, good. So outside piece times the whole length. Okay, equals outside piece, my outside piece is 8, times the whole length. What is that entire length? 18. Yes. So it's always outside piece times the whole length equals outside piece times the whole length. So 8 times 18 is 144. So x squared is 144. What would I do? It is 12. We just square root that and you get 12.
I know up to 12, let's go no further.
Yep, it's because 12 squared is 144. So if you have x squared, you have to square root to solve for x, right? You guys all remember that? Okay. So number 8 is 12. All right, let's try another one. Let's just go to this one right here. So outside piece, what's that outside piece? 2 times the entire length added together. What is 2? No, what is 2 plus x plus 6? So we add it all together.
8 plus x.
Yeah, 8 plus x or x plus 8, yeah. So it's outside piece times the entire length equals outside piece times the entire length, which happens to be 6 again. So 6 times 6, 36. I have to do distributive property here. So 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 8, 16. Can you guys solve it from there?
20 equals 2x, x equals 10.
Yeah. X is 10. So it's always outside piece times the entire length equals outside piece times the entire length. All right, let's move to a hard one, to a harder one. Let's go to number 11. Let's just do number 11. You guys ready for this? No? And it's so early. Okay, so let's just start at the top. So do you guys see how the outside piece is 10? So outside piece is 10 times the entire length. What's the entire length? 18. Okay. So outside piece times the entire length equals outside piece times the entire length. What's that entire length?
3x.
No.
3 plus x.
3 plus x. Okay. Okay, are we okay so far? Outside piece times the whole length. Outside piece. You guys might want to write this stuff down and try it with me because you're going to have to do some on your own. So what is 10 times 18? 180. X times 3. 3x. X times x. Okay. So this is where our problem is. And in Algebra 2, you're going to see this a lot. In algebra, if you have an x and an x squared, we can't solve like we normally do. So we have to use something called the quadratic formula. So anytime you have an x squared and an x, we have to do quadratic formula. Well, in this quadratic formula, do you see how there's a's and b's and c's? So we need to rearrange this equation to where everything's on one side. So I'm going to minus 180 just to get it to the other side because I want one side to just be 0. So this side is 0, and I'm going to write this in order. I'm going to do my x squared first. So always do your x squared first. And then I'm going to write my 3x, which is a positive 3x, so that's why I wrote plus. And then I'm going to write my negative 180. So it has to be in order with the x squared term, then the x, and then the final number. This is where we get our a's, b's, and c's. So a is always the number in front of the x squared. In this case, do you know what that number would be? 1. So a would be 1. B is the number in front of the x, 3. And then c is that other number, negative 180. So I'm going to write it all out in the quadratic formula first, and then we are going to practice typing it in our calculator together. So this formula says x equals negative b. So what is my b? And I'm going to put it like already. B is 3, so negative 3 would be negative 3. And then I know it says plus or minus. Today we're only going to do plus because I don't want to get a negative segment length. You can't get a negative side length. So today we'll just do plus. When you're in Algebra 2, you're going to have to do the plus and the minus and get 2 answers. So we're just going to do plus. The square root of b squared, so 3 squared, I'm just plugging in all the letters, minus 4 times a, what was a? 1 times c, negative 180. All over 2a. When I taught Algebra 1, like 20 years ago, we used to sing that. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And they had to know it. Okay. So we got to type this in our calculator. The first button, everybody get your calculators. You're going to practice typing this. First button you push in the calculator is going to be the N over D button. If you don't start with the N over D button, you're going to get the wrong answer. So N over D button. And then we're going to type negative 3. So remember to use that negative sign by the enter. If you use a minus sign, you're going to get a syntax error. So negative 3. And we're only going to use plus, not plus and minus today, only plus. The square root. So do you guys remember how to get the square root? Second x squared. And then it's b squared, so hit 3, and then the x squared button to put the little 2, minus 4 times a, what was a, 1, times c, what was c? Negative 180. Make sure again that you hit that negative button. A negative button is different than a minus. Times negative 180. And the thing is, you want this square root to keep going. If it doesn't keep going, if you tab out or something, you'll get the wrong answer. So keep the square root going. Now tab to the bottom. It's all over 2a, so all over 2 times 1. You don't have to put the times 1 because we know 2 times 1 is 2, so you could leave it as 2. You hit enter, all that work. Yes, and the answer is 12.
Syntax error.
Did you
I got
hit a
81,
minus sign?
Negative 81 over
Yeah.
2.
I mean, okay.
Negative 81
So you
over
probably
2.
hit minus 3 instead of negative 3.
I
So
did
we
that.
talked about that, yeah. And you probably did it again. So you have to, oh, you have a minus times. Minus 4 times a. You brought 4. So you're gonna have to be careful typing this in Algebra 2, quadratic formula all the time. Not all the time, but a lot. You'll do quadratic formula a lot. So all that work and the answer is 12. You ready to try another one? How many more do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 more of them. Pick one. Find one that you want me to do.
17.
17? All right, let's do 17. So, outside piece, which is 2, do you guys see that? 2 times the entire length. What's that entire length? 18 equals outside piece. What's the outside piece? X times the entire length. What's the entire length? X plus 9. So 2 times 18, 36 equals,
X squared plus 9.
good, x squared plus 9x. Now, the reason we have to use quadratic formulas is because we have both an x squared and an x. If you just had an x squared, like that one that we had, x squared equals 144, you can solve it because you can square root. But if you have both an x squared and an x, that means quadratic formula. So we have to get this 36 to the other side. Do you guys remember that? Subtract 36. So I've got 0 equals x squared plus 9x minus 36. What is A? 1, the number in front of the x squared. What is B? 9. What is C? Negative 36. So I'm going to write it all out first, just to have it, but we need to type it in the calculator. The very first button that you push on the calculator is what? N over D. If you forget N over D first, you have to start over. So it's x equals negative B. So do you guys see how B is 9? Negative 9 plus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. 2 times 1. So 9, 1, and negative 36. So N over D, negative 9 plus the square root 9 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 36 all over 2 times 1. Did you guys get 3?
Yeah.
I got 2.9.
Did you type something in weird? You shouldn't get 2
I mean,
points.
it's 3, but
I know, but I wonder why you got a decimal. That's weird.
I mean, I didn't do 2 times 1 on the bottom.
Yeah, do you have 9 squared
Yeah,
minus 4
yeah,
times 1 times
Yeah.
negative, do you have a negative 9 up here?
yeah. I have parentheses around the 1 minus 36, but that's just
1 times negative 36?
4 parentheses 1 minus.
Okay, nope, that's why. It's 4, you can do
It's still
4,
4 times.
you could type it like this, 4 parentheses 1 parentheses again. Don't put all those together.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be why. Alright, so that would be 3. All that work for 3. Do you want to pick another one?
All of them, please.
Do what?
All of them, please.
No. Which one?
19.
19, okay. Let's do 19. Yeah, 19 looks a little scary. 19. All right, so outside piece, what's the outside piece? X times the entire length added together. So that's x plus 2 plus x. So what would that end up be when I combine my terms? 2x plus 2, yeah. Equals outside piece 12 times the whole length, 12. 12 times 12. So what is, bless you, what is x times 2x?
2x squared.
2x squared, so this time my a is going to be 2. What's x times 2? 2x. And then 12 times 12? Now we need this side to equal 0. So I'm going to have to minus the 144. So it's 2x squared plus 2x minus 144 equals 0. You guys okay with the c being negative 144? Okay. So what is a? 2. What's b?
2.
And c?
Negative 144.
Good. So x equals negative b, negative 2, plus square root of 2 squared minus 4 times a times negative 144. All over 2 times 2. So a is 2 this time. Okay, so what, do you remember the first button to push in the calculator? Yeah, N over D. Negative 2 plus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times A times C. All over 2 times 2. Did you guys get 8?
Yes.
Yay! So, is it super bad or not so bad? Yes, question.
I got a domain error.
Okay, I will come look
know
at
what
that.
went wrong.
Okay, let me look at it. Is your 144 negative?
I don't know.
Oh, you put plus instead of minus.
8, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somehow I got 2.
Oh, I know. I got 30. What'd you get? Oh, 30. I don't remember how to do it, right?
Thank you.
Isn't it crazy one little thing, how that messes up the whole thing? Alright, you guys want me to do one more?
Yeah.
Yeah, number 18.
18? Okay. Okay, so I'll do one more, 18. And then you guys can just finish it. Yeah.
Now do 15, don't do 18.
18's easy. 15?
Do 15.
Okay.
I just said
15.
one.
Yeah, 15 looks a little scarier. Let's do 15. Okay, so outside piece 20 times the whole length, which is also 20, equals outside piece x times the whole length, which would be x plus x minus 6. So what is that? 2x minus 6, yeah. So 20 times 20, 400. Xavier, are you gonna be okay with all this? Because you don't,
What are we
you're
doing?
not, you just aren't writing anything down or anything. Do you know how to do all this? Are you good
No,
with
I
it?
probably am not going to
Okay,
do well. but
okay, yeah.
I'm-
Maybe you should write it down. So x times 2x is what? 2x squared. X times negative 6, negative 6x. Okay, this is going to be good because our b is going to be negative and we need to talk about that. Okay, so I need to get this 400 to the other side, so minus 400. 2x squared minus 6x minus 400 equals 0. So before you type in the calculator, wait before you type because there's going to be something weird with b because b is negative. Okay, so A, what's A?
2.
B, negative 6, C,
Negative 100.
okay. So we will have the N over D button. Now do you see how it says negative B? And if b's already negative, what is a negative negative 6? Positive 6. So that's going to have to be positive, but that's not the only thing that's weird. When you do b squared, if you just type in negative 6 squared in your calculator, you'll get the wrong answer. Because it will just do the 6 squared but keep the negative sign. But I want it to do negative 6 times negative 6. Like it's got to take at the actual b times itself. So you're going to have to put the negative 6 in parentheses for it to get the correct answer. Because we want it to do negative 6 times negative 6. And then minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 400, all over to a. So that negative 6 will have to be in parentheses for it to work. All right, 6 or 2, negative 6, negative 400. So 6 plus square root parentheses negative 6, close parentheses, then square it. Do you guys have it looking like that? Minus 4 times a times, it might be a decimal. Let me look. All over 2 times 2. Yeah, 15.7. 15.7. All right, I'm glad we did that one. Good call. All right. Well, let me know if you have questions.